KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from fabulous Las Vegas. Right here. Listen, this is going to be a fun show, folks. You're going to have a kick out of this one. All right, today's show is brought to you by Legal Shield, providing legal protection and peace of mind. Mercy. Legal protection and peace of mind. Oh, boy. Legal Shield can help with traffic tickets, texting and driving, DUIs, court appearances, estate planning, even contracts given to people they don't understand, plus a whole lot more. For more information, contact Legal Shield at 213-245-1305. That's 213-245-1305. Again, 213-245-1305. Or visit online for more information at nocourt.us. That's nocourt.us. It's live, folks. Anything can happen. You gotta like that. And a big welcome into everybody listening in on Magic 97.9 FM right here in Las Vegas on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Hotels. We have 650,000 rooms with people in them that are actually watching this show right now. Thank you for tuning in. And that's from coast to coast, as well as everybody on Facebook, social media, thesportscircus.com, and amp.tv. Right from the very start, we have a very special guest. In fact, let's let him introduce himself.
Hey, Matt Doherty here, former head coach of the University of North Carolina and starter on the 1982 national championship team. Currently, I'm a Vistage chair, the oldest and largest executive coaching organization in the country.
Wow, that's very exciting. Very exciting. And by the way, of course, I'm a Duke guy, and so we'll keep that Duke Carolina thing to a quiet roar because, of course, we have games that they've played, just a couple. I think Matt's played in a few of those too, and they may have gotten a little bit bloodied from time to time. But it's always good to have a coach of the year, former coach of the year on the show as well. I think that was in 2001.
That is correct. 2001 AP National Coach of the Year.
That's pretty exciting. That's pretty exciting. All right. So, Matt, I'll tell you what. You have this big background in basketball as a player, as a coach. But I want to talk right from the very start. You're also an author. I want to talk a little bit about a book that you had written, and that is called Rebound: From Pain to Passion. Give a quick synopsis of the book, if you will.
Yeah, I've had this burning in my belly for a while. I lost my job at UNC in 2003. 2001, we just said I was the National Coach of the Year. 2003, I was forced to resign. And I went on a leadership journey. I tried to get better and not be bitter. And I really, learned a lot. And so my pain of losing my job became my passion of leadership. And so I've had it in my mind. I felt that leadership is the most important topic that's not formally taught. No one takes leadership classes in high school or college, and really leadership needs to be practiced. In athletics, I don't know of any college NBA coach that took formal leadership training before they became a head coach. They were either blessed to be around some good head coaches, or they were blessed to be naturally gifted in that area. But leadership is a learned behavior and should be taught and studied and practiced.
Yeah, very well stated. And I have to say that it's the same idea as when people will learn a foreign language. Let's say you immerse yourself in this country or that country, and you learn the language just by hearing it from an audible standpoint, but you don't know what you're saying. So technically you're illiterate. You may know how to say X, Y, and Z, but you don't know how the structure works. It means a lot, especially if you're leading a group of people, whether it's on a basketball court or in corporate America or in a classroom, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, that leadership training is really where it's at, because a lot of times, think about this, for all those teachers out there, whether it's from kindergarten all the way through the collegiate level, graduate school, etc., in many cases, believe it or not, the professors have not been taught how to teach. Matt, would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, at high levels, they don't know how to teach. And those, just think of the painful words that were spoken to some students at such a young age, from whether it be a teacher or a guidance counselor. And you hear these stories about somebody saying to a young person, you won't amount to much, or you're going to be just like your older brother. and to put that on a young person is so damaging. Words matter. And that's something we talk a lot in our Vistage training, is words matter. And one little word can really, really crush the spirit of somebody.
It's funny you say that. I remember this way back in 1986. 1986, I was moving from Chicago to sunny Southern California. And my father triple parked at the airport, a Midway airport, the smaller of the two airports in Chicago. And he said, look, here's your bags. I think I had 3 bags and $400 with me. And he goes, call me when you get there. Yeah, you're not going to amount to anything anyway. I remember that. I swear to you, he said, you'll never amount to anything. Those words, quoted, you'll never. And then when it came to bringing him to commencement ceremony in Durham, right? So here I'm going through grad school. I'm going through the MBA program at Duke University. And that was the thing. That was the moment that actually changed his mind, because even going through undergraduate studies, he didn't think I was going to amount to anything. And unfortunately, he's never been around that kind of world. And I think, Matt, a lot of people that haven't been in those worlds where people have gone on to do bigger and better things in life, they can't conceive what the hell that means.
That's so sad. I'm sorry that you went through that. That's sad. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, it was rough. But then again, I use it as a rallying cry, too. So every time I would travel somewhere, whether it was to Tahiti, I remember my dad always wanted to go to Tahiti. And so here I'm 22 years old and I'm on a roadside telephone. They had these payphones out in the middle of nowhere next to a coconut stand. And I'm calling him, throwing as many coins, as many French francs into the coin, Tahitian francs, that I could, just to call him, hey, Dad, I'm in Tahiti, click. And then, it goes away after maybe 20 seconds. But I did that from all over the world because he'd always talked about it and never done it. And so my point is, for those people that have not been around bigger things in life, they have no idea. Take yourself, Matt, going to play ball where you played it in a historic program, playing with historic players, winning a national title, and then going out of the coaching ranks and doing historic things. Now, there are people in your world at some point that had no clue what it took to even get into college. Not only that, but play ball in such a great program and everything else.
Yeah, Sal, I think it's a blessing. I was fortunate to be raised by Walter and Mary Doherty. Loving parents. I had have 3 older sisters and a younger brother. And I talk about in the book Rebound, I had a ball and a dream. And that's the beautiful thing about sports. You can dream. And it just takes a ball. It doesn't take much. You can work on your game in the driveway. If you go down to the park and be in the park by yourself, working on your game, dreaming about playing for the New York Knicks as a kid. And I had people that supported those dreams, from my parents to my sisters to my brother to my high school coaches. and they challenged you and supported you and didn't, there's a lot of communities, I call it the crab bucket syndrome, where if you're trying to get out of the bucket, they just pull you down because by your success makes them look that much more insignificant. So they don't want seeing people successful. They want to keep pulling people down because it's easy to sit on the couch, to sit on the front porch and not work. And because then they get jealous.
Yes, I absolutely. It's funny. I literally had this conversation right before we started with one of our co-hosts that comes in a couple of days a week. Is Tyrone Poole. He won a couple of Super Bowls with the New England Patriots, and he and I had this exact conversation. It couldn't have been but maybe a half an hour ago. And it's true. A lot of people will try to drag you down because, hey, they don't want you to get ahead and they want to commiserate. Oh, no, you think you could have been this, that, and the other. Well, guess what? You actually were. And so, Matt, with your background, and you had great parents. My parents were great, but they were the typical Happy Days couple. Blue collar people. My mother didn't even finish high school. It was just that way, right? She was working in the factory a long time ago, and I think at 14 years of age she was doing that. And my father kind of rescued her out of that. But at the end of the day, he was just a Marine, and all of his brothers, they were military too, but they didn't know anything else except the military world, and that was it. And so when you talk about going to school and playing sports, it's an entirely different situation. Now, we've got about 30 seconds left here. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to give a preview in the next segment. We're going to dive into Rebound from Pain to Passion with Matt Doherty, national champion, former AP Coach of the Year. Yes, that would be from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Back here in just a few minutes with Matt, folks. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935. Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch! Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger.
No finger pricks.
Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-659-7805. 800-659-7805. 800-659-7805. That's 800-659-7805.
Hey everybody, this is Barry Katz from the Industry Standard Podcast, and you're listening to the Sports Circus with Sal Tuzzolino.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from the AMP TV mobile studios here in fabulous Las Vegas. This segment is brought to you by Kelly Vegas, helping people create and host their very own radio, TV, or multimedia talk shows. Kelly Vegas can help people with everything they need to get out of sitting in hours of traffic, going back and forth to the same old boring job, and host their very own talk show in their very own home studio. For more information, contact Kelly Vegas at 949-445-1119. That's 949-445-1119. Again, 949-445-1119, or check them out online for more information at CaliVegas.com. That's CALI Vegas.com. And welcome back to everybody listening in on Magic 97.9 FM right here in Las Vegas and our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast, including our friends over in Honolulu on CBS Sports 1500 KHKA, in the greater Los Angeles market, KCAA, our NBC News and CNBC financial affiliate. Thanks for joining us all the way down in the greater Houston market, Corpus Christi, Texas, CBS Sports 95.1, 96.1, and 1230 AM up in Faraday, Louisiana, Natchez, Mississippi, 107.1 The River. Thanks for joining us over on WBNW in Boston, WAUD in Auburn, Alabama, as well as WDJY in Atlanta and everywhere else. The list goes on and on and on, and we're also in hotels, literally 650,000 rooms from coast to coast. And thanks for joining us also on social media, back here with national champion, AP Coach of the Year from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. That'd be Matt Doherty. Matt, thanks for joining us again.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. It's amazing the reach your show has, and I'm honored to be a part of it.
Well, you know what? We're honored to have you here. And as far as an author is concerned, I'm trying to stay away from the basketball on the court stuff for now. But I want to talk more about this book because people need to understand more, not only your perspective, because you're a corporate guy, you're a coach, you're a leader. There's a lot more to Matt Doherty than what has happened on a basketball court. And that's what I want people to get to know. So from the leadership side, what message are you sending through Rebound from Pain to Passion, your book?
Well, a couple of things. I think, first of all, that I wanted to write the book because, as I mentioned earlier, leadership is the most important topic that's not formally taught. And when I lost my job in 2003 at North Carolina, they publicly questioned my leadership. And so instead of deciding to be bitter about it, I wanted to get better. So I went on a leadership journey. And I went to schools like the Doherty School at UVA. I went to the Wharton School and just took 1 week leadership classes. Then I worked with executive coaches. And as I sat in a couple of these classes, I remember, hitting my forehead like, wow, if I would have taken these classes, maybe I'd still be the head coach at North Carolina.
Wow.
Because as a coach, you're fortunate to be aligned with a good head coach, like I was with Roy Williams at Kansas. I get the head coach at Notre Dame. A year later, I'm the head coach at North Carolina. And I say it's like somebody giving you the keys to a Ferrari and telling you to drive it as fast as you can. But if you wreck it, we're going to find another driver. And so, but they don't even teach you how to turn the car off. They don't even teach you how to shift. And so, that's the thing about leadership. And then when I was taking this class on emotional intelligence in 2003, I'd never heard of emotional intelligence in 2003. And I'm like, this stuff needs to be taught to coaches because we're impacting the lives of young people, not only at the college level, I'm even talking the lower level. Teachers, they need to understand the impact, the emotional impact, and mining for the hearts of these young people. And so I became passionate about it. That's the rebound from pain to passion. So I rebounded from my loss of my job and the pain of losing that job to becoming passionate about leadership. And that's why now I run a leadership practice. I love learning about it, hearing stories, helping CEOs and business leaders become better, because your organization is only going to rise to the capacity of the person in charge.
Well, think about this, Matt. Out of all the people growing up, think about the young kids. If they knew a little bit more, just a little bit about what you're talking about, maybe they may develop a little differently. And let's just even go to middle school, right? Where the brain is really starting to develop and you're getting into heavier mathematics, et cetera, maybe at that level, maybe that leadership style or that leadership level, that leadership curriculum maybe could be touched upon. And who knows, maybe as these young minds are developing, maybe playing high school sports and high school clubs, whether it's investments or science or whatever the heck it is. The fact is, people have a lot to learn from that kind of training, don't they?
I agree. And that's why I think people that play a team sport growing up have a huge advantage. Because if you didn't, where else do you get the leadership training? Where else do you get dealing with conflict management? Where do you get dealing with accepting roles? Where do you get that in a non-athletic environment when you're growing up? I'm not sure where you get it. Maybe you get it from groups like the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or things like that. But you really, again, I think athletics is such a great teacher for young people. And the thing that also helps is it teaches you about losing, about failure. And I think that it's healthy for young people to learn how to deal with failure and overcome failure. And really, that's the genesis of the book, Rebound from Pain to Passion.
Right, folks, we're here with Matt Doherty, national champion on the basketball court and AP Coach of the Year as well. Welcome back on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates to everybody watching. And so from the leadership side, I really believe that, look, I didn't take any training or anything like that, but I grew up in a very humble house on the west side of Chicago. And I have to tell you that growing up in a house with 8 kids, you really had to fight for whatever you had, right? So whether it was the bag of potato chips or a chair, it didn't really matter because you had to fight for everything. But think about those only childs out there, right? There's a lot of them that had no idea what adversity at home meant every day, right? And now imagine playing sports with them. That's an interesting dynamic.
It's interesting. My daughter had a conversation with a friend who was this only child. I have 2 kids. I grew up one of 5. And as you're talking, we had my aunt married an Italian, and we'd go over there for New Year's Day, and one TV back then, black and white, and it was super. It was the bold days, January 1st, and we just would fight for the chairs. And only one chair, there was respect. That was the grandmother's chair. She got her chair. No one sat in her chair. And we'd all compete like, okay, when can we go to the bathroom and get back in time to keep our chair? Or when the pasta came out, you risked losing your seat if you went to the buffet line. So you try to negotiate with somebody. Hey, I'll save your seat if you go get my food. And so, the bathroom, we had 6 people sharing a bathroom that was about 4 feet by 8 feet. And it's like Grand Central Station in the morning. And if you're slow getting to the bathroom door, you're out. You're done. You have no shot.
That's right. We had one bathroom. Mind you, there was 5 women in the house, right? Including my sisters, my mom. There were 5. Mind you, the guys had to get in there too, and I'm the youngest. And so for me, I always showed up late to school. And if I'm walking, of course, in the wintertime when your eyelids are crystallizing, all the moisture is getting on there, your hair's frozen by the time you get to school. It was just a big disaster. But then again, that's what it's a part of growing up in this kind of environment. You need this kind of environment. You've got to face a little adversity before you jump into the saddle and deal with everybody else in your daily environment.
Well, my brother works at Goldman Sachs. And I remember when he first got there, it was just after 9/11, and people were losing their jobs. Yeah. And my brother played college basketball, and he had dealt with winning and losing and competing. And so they're calling on customers, and obviously some people are saying no. Well, my brother's just like, okay, call the next one, where people around him had not dealt with rejection or failure before, and they didn't know how to handle it. And again, the many lessons we learn through team sports.
Absolutely. This is good stuff. Folks, we're going to be back here in just a few minutes with Matt Doherty from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. He is a national champion. Yes, did play basketball with Michael Jordan, and also won Coach of the Year, Associated Press Coach of the Year in 2001. Really good stuff. And maybe a little bit of basketball discussion in the next discussion. I don't know, maybe. What do you think, Matt? Yeah, no?
I like talking about big families.
I do too. That's why I'm kind of been staying away from it. But I'll tell you what, folks, we have more to come here in just a few minutes on The Circus. Don't go anywhere.
Hello Americans, it's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Don't wait. Call right now. 888-794-1630. 888-794-1630. Write it down. 888-794-1630. Again, for the last time, 888-794-1630.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally cut up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, and bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 800-816-1144. 800-816-1144, 800-816-1144, 800-816-1144.
Hey there, it's Nick Mackay. You may know me as the voice of Salem Saberhagen, the talking cat from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. You're listening to the Sports Circus. I'm on a calliope. Get me out of here. I'm scared.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from fabulous Las Vegas. This segment brought to you by the American Business Trust Company, helping companies with strategy, sales and marketing, capital resources, and establishing companies with physical locations or on the internet. For more information, contact the American Business Trust Company at 657-600-1876, 657-600-1876, or visit online for more information at abtrustco.com. That's abtrustco.com. Welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Also, everybody watching in hotels in every metered market in America, as well as all those participating on social media. Thanks for joining us. Back here with national champion from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and AP Coach of the Year, Matt Doherty. Matt, last segment, thanks for joining us again.
Oh, it's great to be on the show, Sal. Thank you.
You know, I love the fact that we get a chance to talk about books and family, right? We don't have to talk about hoops because there's so much more to talk about besides, okay, look, you've done X, Y, and Z. Everybody knows it. Folks, Google this guy and you'll get a whole big rundown of everything that he's done, right? But at the end of the day, he is a champion. This is a show of champions as well. And another brief round of applause. Even though he's a crosstown rival, we'll give him a brief round of applause. Good stuff, though. I like it. So back to the big family thing, and I like the leadership skills that come out of being a part of a family. You're one of five. I'm actually one of five too, but we had three cousins living with us, so really I was one of eight. So I was the youngest. Where were you? Are the oldest, youngest, or in the middle?
I was the oldest till my, Irish Catholic, the rhythm method doesn't really work, Sal. And, I was living a good life. I was the youngest. Three older sisters. I mean, I had it good. And then I'm six and a half. And this other body shows up in the house. I'm like, what's this? And that's your younger brother, John. I'm like, what? Like, whoa. I didn't sign up for this. And John showed up 6 years later, and he's been, amazing guy. So proud of him. And we have a great family. And what's fun is when you get back together, and, I'm 59. I've got sisters in the 60s. My brother's 53. And so you fall right into your roles you did when you were a kid. Like you try to get to the same seat at the table, the same discussions. My older sister would kind of be the voice of reason. John and I are the wise guys. We start the trouble. It's you just fall into the old roles. It's a beautiful thing.
And my father always said that I was an instigator. I didn't know I was going to grow up and be an instigator. I had no idea, but I do it every day, I guess. It's kind of like we're a circus and we prove it every day. So were you you were the instigator or the troublemaker? Because, sometimes that's two different people.
No, I know. I was very kind of quiet, compliant, and I just wanted to go to play ball. Like, I cut deals with my family that I could get to the park by 6 o'clock after dinner, because the games in the summertime started at 6 o'clock. So we had to finish up dinner. I didn't have to do the dishes. I was out the door because I had to cut deals. And, as I got older, I like to start trouble. I like to instigate. I like to stir the pot. My brother and I do a good job of that, just to launch some trial balloons and see if we can get it on, get something started at the dinner table. We call it competitive dining. My mom didn't like it at all, but we'd always get around to, hey, John, your head's bigger than my head. Like the big Irish head, I got the big Irish melon. And so we would have a debate over who had the bigger noggin, and just start making fun of each other. And my mom didn't like it, but we just called it competitive dining. So it was a lot of love. It just was shown in some funny ways.
That's funny. Not just at the dinner table, but my sister and I always had the same thing, like you were saying with the biggest head. Well, my sister and I would go back and forth because she said, well, you've got these huge ears. So when I was a kid, they kind of stuck out. Right. And so I was the laughing stock of the house. But my sister had this bruiser nose. I mean, I think she had her nose broken 3 or 4 times. I don't know. But it was just ugly. And I mean, when you walk down the street, if you see her, you're going to the other side of the street. You don't want to fool with her. It's funny because she grew up and she became a bodybuilder, believe it or not, right? And so all the time that we would always have these fist fights and stuff, and she was always stronger than me. She's about a year and a half older, but she was the bruiser in high school. She was an instigator and a troublemaker and a bully in high school, and I had to deal with this every day. And even when I went to one of my class reunions, I'll never forget this. There's a girl named Denise Zuppo. And so Denise said, oh, it's great to see you. I haven't seen you in 20 years. And she started going like this. Hey, is your sister here? Right. So I'm like, no, she's not here because she used to bully her. But you grow up in that kind of house and you know what it is? It's nothing but havoc and mayhem, but it's a lot of fun and you wouldn't trade it. My sister and I are very close today and her name is Annette. And I know Annette watches the show from time to time. So she'll get a kick out of this one. Absolutely.
Hello, Annette.
All right.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's the beautiful thing about family and those stories. I love those stories. They're funny as heck. Yes.
They are a lot of fun. And, as you get older and you're all getting older, right? And my family is about the same age as yours. All the kids are right about the same everything, right? So I think I'm the same age as your younger brother, as a matter of fact. And my middle sister is the same age as you, and on we go, right? So we have the same dynamic in the family. But as we get older, those experiences lead to big leadership abilities and the ability to make decisions as a boss, as a leader. Because if you're the manager, manage. If you're not the manager, let's go find the manager, right or wrong.
Right. No, you either a leader or you follower. And sometimes the dynamic can change on a dime. And that's, again, I go back to sports and I talk a lot about the park in my book, Rebound. Growing up in the park, on one game, I could be the elder statesman and have to direct and lead. And then the next game, I can go to a different court and I'm the younger guy in the court and I have to listen and follow. And if you can't do either, all you're doing is getting in the way. And so you have to be able to do both, especially as you climb the ladder, because as you get a management role, you still have bosses above you and you have people that you need to lead below you. And so it's really an interesting, the interpersonal dynamic is so important, because if people don't like you and don't respect you, they're not going to work for you.
Yes, and I would absolutely agree to that. Absolutely. Hey, listen, Matt, we're going to wrap this segment up in just a few minutes, but I want to make sure I leave plenty of time for you to tell everybody about the book, where to find your book, and a little bit more about how to follow you as well.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Doherty Matt, Doherty, first name Matt. You can find a copy of Rebound on my book website, which is rebound-book.com, or on Amazon.
That's good stuff. So, of course, Matt, when you have a little bit more time, because you're probably out there busy with your books, maybe doing book appearances and signings and so forth and other television programs, when you come back, we'll have to maybe chop it up a little bit and talk a little bit of hoops, but we'll let that go for the time being, because this is about Rebound. And I love what you said. You said a ball and a dream.
Ball and a dream. That's all it takes. A ball and a dream.
Ball and a dream. I like that. Any final messages for anybody out there that you maybe want to poke at a little bit, have a little fun with? Or, you know what? How about a big hello to our friend in common? That'd be Rick Barry, huh?
Right. Yeah, Rick Barry. I had a poster of Rick on my wall growing up, because I wanted to play like Rick, and I really tried to model my game after him. I wasn't the athlete he was, but his ability to pass, handle, and shoot the ball at 6'7", that's how I wanted to play when I was growing up in 4th, 5th grade, watching him play for the New York Nets.
Right. Well, Rick, all of the kids, they're all 6'7", 6'6", 6'7", and talk about a successful group of guys that have the same chemistry, the same everything. And I think from a performance basis, Rick obviously was very good at coaching those boys, but at the same time, he's very good at straightening people out and keeping them on that narrow path, kind of like Rebound as well. I'm glad you wrote the book. I'm going to spend a little bit more time and jump through it myself. And thanks again, Matt, for joining us. And a big round of applause for Matt Doherty, national champion from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and AP Coach of the Year, 2001. Thanks for joining us, Matt, and we're going to have you back, of course.
Thank you, Sal.
Sure thing. Folks, don't go anywhere. Lots more to come here on the Sports Circus. Back in a few minutes.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident, or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer, and we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case, and they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident, or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. That's 800-547-4170.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now. Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you with startup capital, business strategy, sales and marketing, and establishing your company with a physical location or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea, the American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, you may visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's ABTRUSTCO.com or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They can help your business right away.
Hey, this is Tommy John, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from the AMP TV mobile studios here in fabulous Las Vegas. Folks, make sure you check out thesportscircus.com for our upcoming guests, our prior guests, our podcast, and also our partners. One of those is the College of Southern Nevada Athletics, csncoyotes.com. Have a visit and check out their upcoming events and games, csncoyotes.com for the College of Southern Nevada. Welcome back to everybody tuning in on 97.9 FM right here in Las Vegas on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Thanks for joining us, as well as everybody in hotels from coast to coast and on social media, Facebook, Twitter, thesportscircus.com, wherever we're everywhere. I don't really get a rundown of everywhere we're at, but trust me, you can probably find us just about anywhere. Anyway, we had a really nice guest, a really good guest in the first few segments of the show. Really enjoyed talking leadership and family with Matt Doherty from UNC Chapel Hill, national champion on the basketball court, did play with Michael Jordan, and also led that team, or led the North Carolina Tar Heels over to the national stage on a big level as the coach of the year too. I mean, look, this guy basically did it all on the sidelines. He was very, very good. Did it on the court too. He's a winner on and off the court. Always welcome back on the show. And, you know, Sonar, it was nice to talk to somebody that had a good perspective on family life and how you could take that leadership and move it into the real world, even on the business side.
Yeah, I mean, it's a social construct. So the more people you can add into the experiment, the more experience you're going to get.
Right. It's sort of, at some point, you know, it gets to be like juggling balls in the circus or something like that. So, again, you know, Matt has made a really nice impact in the business community, and, of course, we wish him continued success. So what happens when future Hall of Famers want to prolong their careers? This is beyond basketball. Let's move over to baseball. I just want to have this quick discussion here. So you take these guys, you know they're going to get in the Hall of Fame, and they prolong their careers because, well, maybe they want to get past a milestone, whether it's in baseball, maybe it's RBIs, home runs, hits, batting average. They want to try to raise that career batting average. Who knows what it is? Or maybe get an extra bonus. I mean, what happens when a future Hall of Famer stays on the team to try to achieve these milestones, right? And I'm going to take one, for example. I'm going to take Albert Pujols. Now, here's the funny thing. I read this not too long ago, and it said that there was a baseball executive that used to be a part of a particular team, said that he didn't believe the age of Albert Pujols in the first place, because I guess there was a lot of question for the age reporting from the Dominican Republic. And so in Albert's case, you know, he says he's age X, but apparently some people think he's X times maybe 10%. So, for example, if you're 41, maybe you're 41.1 year old or 45.1 year old, something to that effect. So I guess the question is, first of all, was he being honest with Major League Baseball? Maybe, maybe not, because there is a money issue. But what happens beyond the age thing? Let's just say they're on a team. And for in Bert's case, now Bert had a great career with the St. Louis Cardinals, a phenomenal career. I mean, that alone was a Hall of Fame career. But what if you stick around just to kind of finish out a contract and maybe try to get over a home run plateau, right? Maybe you want to hit 700 home runs or whatever the hell it is, because I know he's actually not far away from that. But my point is, what happens with the guy and the team that he's on? What about the payroll? How does it affect the fans? This is really what I'm after. How does it affect the fans as they support the team, as they go and buy goods from the team, whether it's hats, jerseys, I don't know, whatever memorabilia, it doesn't matter. How does it affect the fans? How about the cost of admission to go see a baseball game? It's already very expensive for a family of 4 to go see a baseball game. I would argue from top to bottom, including seats, parking, food. You're going to get souvenirs, et cetera, et cetera. That's $1,000. Now, I know at Yankee Stadium, some of the seats, $200-$300 just to walk into that place in those sections. That's unbelievable. And that's not even from a scalper. No, this is just regular pricing. So maybe in New York, it might be $1,500 to go see a game for a family of 4. I don't know. It could be even higher. It could be $2,000. I don't know. The point is, when these guys that have stuck around, because maybe they're a little bit selfish and they want to have that record, or they want to be close, or the top 3 in something to that effect. How does that affect the team? Think about the prospects. So let's go to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, of Orange County, of the Orange Curtain, of the Santa Ana Riverbed, of Earth, etc. The longest name in sports. That's why we do that one. It's kind of humorous, actually, if you think about it. But nonetheless, if you ask the fans, would they rather see the young star prospects up, or do they want to see Pujols hit another home run? That's the question I think that the ownership should be asking the fans, and not worried so much about the player, because they have players in the system, even down in Salt Lake, the Salt Lake Bees. That's their AAA team. Maybe some players down in Salt Lake that can hit home runs too. Maybe that can play first base as well. I don't know. But ultimately, it seems that the fans are cheated out of the experience to see the young kids. It seems like the players, the other players on the team, may be cheated out of bonus money, because there's a salary cap, right? So there might be bonus money that's missing from the players that are sitting out there. There may be the players that are trying to come up through the system. The roster spot is taken. And so maybe there's a star player behind Albert Pujols that wants to get up, that certainly could play with the big club. I remember having this conversation with, it was, what was his name? Maybe he was, his brother played for the Angels, and his brother played outfield for the Angels anyway. And it was a situation where the younger brother was good, and he was playing AAA for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And so he ended up sitting behind Paul Goldschmidt, and Paul Goldschmidt being a very good first baseman, needless to say, and moved on to the St. Louis Cardinals. And so this guy had to sit and wait until Paul Goldschmidt moved on. So he finally moved on. And I remember interviewing him. We had a conversation after one of the games between the Las Vegas 51s, which now had moved. That's the Mets AAA team. They're moved back to New York. And now we have the Oakland A's AAA team for the Las Vegas Aviators right here in town in Vegas. But this was back with the 51s. And I remember having this conversation. I said, buddy, you're going to be playing up in the big club in the next season. He goes, don't be so sure of that. I said, no, I'll tell you, because Paul Goldschmidt is going to move on from a contract. He said, again, we'll see about that. Well, the fact is, he said, look, I've been sitting down here for a while waiting for my turn. And so you take those guys that have been sitting maybe in Anaheim's Salt Lake Bees AAA team, and you say, well, how come these guys haven't gotten a chance? That's because you have the relic is basically taking a roster spot. And so it affects the players even on the next level down. So that farm system, think about this. As the AAA guy is waiting to move up, well, so is the AA guy. And so is the A ball waiting for the AA guy's spot. And the AA guy is waiting for the AAA spot unless he could jump leagues. But ultimately, my point here is that just because somebody is being, I don't know, whether it's Albert Pujols being selfish or Artie Moreno, the owner, saying we want to squeeze every penny out of our fan base that supports Albert Pujols. It could be a little bit of both. I don't know. Now, Albert said that he was likely going to retire after the next season. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But the manager has to deal with this. This is another aspect of it. So now you've got, for example, in Anaheim, there's new management. And so the manager now has to not play the young kids. They have to play Albert Pujols in this case. Same thing with Miguel Cabrera over in Detroit. Same thing. But he's got good management with A.J. Hinch. But what I'm trying to say here is that is Joe Maddon and the Angels going to be in a position to win with an aging Albert Pujols as you go through the career, through the timeline? I don't know. That's a big question because A, he's not fast. He doesn't run the bases. No, it's either a home run or a single, and he gets his occasional double. That's basically it. He can't even really leg out a long single into a double. So you don't really see those anymore. So that changes the management, and it changes the strategy around the middle of the lineup. And so it's really unfair, again, to the manager, to the team, to the farm system, to the fans, most importantly, because without fans, what do we have? We have nobody in the seats. Well, kind of we've dealt with that recently, but the fact is the fans are going to be back in the seats. So it's not really fair. Are we going to see that in Detroit, like I said, with Cabrera? Probably not. Hinch is a very, very upfront and straight up guy coming from the Houston Astros, and everybody knew down in Houston what Hinch was. He's a very, very good manager, and so now he's up in Detroit. He's going to turn that club around, but he came right out and told Miguel Cabrera, said, look, we're going to use you maybe a couple of days a week. That's it. Maybe you want to get past this milestone. We already know he's a Hall of Famer. And so at least A.J. Hinch was up front to Miguel Cabrera to say, look, this is what we expect out of you. And I don't necessarily know that Joe Maddon over in Anaheim is doing the same thing with Albert Pujols because Albert at this point is bigger than life, right? So what is the conundrum here? The conundrum is you have an old player on a team that has a big, big payroll. Think about that payroll. Bert's taking $25 million a year of the payroll. $25 million. He had a 10-year deal. 10 years. It's or $24 million, whatever. It's a huge number. And how many players can you lock up for $24 million? I would say from the developmental side, you could probably get yourself a good 3 or 4 quality players and even 1 or 2 that hit 300 or maybe even a Gold Glove, something to that effect. So best in that position in the entire league, hence the Gold Glove. Are you going to get a Silver Slugger? Maybe you are. I don't know. Are you going to get a stolen bases leader? Maybe you will. Maybe you could add team speed that will put pressure on the other club. And these are the components of why the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, of Orange County, and all the other crap, that's why they continually do not win. They don't win. Look at Mike Trout with that $426 million contract. How many playoff games has he played? Right. Mike gets injured every year. Is he worth $90,000 a day? 365 days a year? Or basically, what, $80,000 in at bat? Some crazy number? I don't know. I'm not here to judge that. All I know is that the players, when they stick around, they tend to be the albatross around the team's neck, and the team just doesn't win. So again, in Anaheim, we're going to see a team that doesn't make the World Series, win a World Series. They haven't won one since 2002. And the Detroit Tigers, I think they're going to be a little bit further down the trough as far as they're not ready to win just yet. Anaheim's got a lot more players. But ultimately, we got to get these older players to retire ahead of time so they don't take up every ounce of cash in the system. All right, folks, that's going to do it for today. Big thanks for Matt Doherty joining us today. And we will see you next time right here on your favorite station. Until then, so long, everyone.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.